your good looks. That's the thing, it's all good up until then.
Were you asked to write the article, or
No.
did you say, I want to write this article because you felt so strongly about it?
The background to the article was I'd actually, I think one of the anecdotes I mentioned in the piece was I walk my dogs every day, as you do in the countryside, and I passed a woman that I know. Her kids stay at my house, my stepson, and we know each other at social events, etc. And I waved at her. Everyone does that in the French countryside. We all know each other. She didn't wave back, and I just thought, blimey.
No, but maybe she's like me and she needs glasses. Right, let me set the scene. If you don't know who Samantha is and you haven't heard or read this article, here's an extract from it. She says here, throughout my adult life, I've regularly had bottles of bubbly or wine sent to my restaurant table by men I don't know. Once a well-dressed chap bought my train ticket when I was standing behind him in the queue, while there was another occasion when a charming gentleman paid my fare as I stepped out of a cab. Another time, as I was walking through a market, I was tapped on the shoulder and presented with a beautiful bunch of flowers. It's like that Lynx effect, isn't it? Even bartenders frequently shoo my credit card away when I try to settle my bill. And whenever I've asked what I've done to deserve this treatment, the donors of these gifts have always said the same thing. My pleasing appearance and my pretty smile made their day. Emma, has that ever happened to you?
Strangely enough, not ever. And I'm not saying it hasn't happened to you. I do think there are a huge amount of people out there who are just generally pleasant human beings who go out of their way to make other people feel happy. I don't think that the controversy has genuinely been about the fact that you've suggested that you get treated a certain way because you have good looks.
And also, I'm 41. I mean, those things don't happen to me every day of the week. You know,
No.
Those are half a dozen encounters that have happened to me over 41 years, so
and
it's not like that's happening all the time.
Yeah, and I guess that's why there's been such controversy, because actually it's not necessarily that that's offended people, it's this suggestion that women, generically and in society, don't like you because you're pretty. And from my point of view, and as somebody who has varied friends in diverse groups, I have never felt as a woman disliked because of the way that I look,
well,
and definitely not disliked by women.
My experience is that over the last 48 hours I've had thousands of emails to my personal email account, not to mention all the rubbish on Twitter, and women have fallen into two camps. They've either gone, you're off your head, you're a nutter, what are you on about, you're really arrogant, or they've said to me, you've just reiterated the story of my life, thank you. It's really difficult when you're perceived as being attractive. Other women do not like it.
What's the proportion? What's the proportion there?
50-50.
Oh, well, I mean, from my point of view,
50-50.
when I've looked, and I've obviously been looking through this because I want to get the generic public's point of view, I'm saying that men, lots and lots of men are saying they don't agree with you. Lots of women are saying that they're offended.
I don't agree with what?
The fact that you yourself feel that women in general don't like beautiful women.
Yeah, I think that has
true.
been the main thing with women. Certainly, my friends and women I've talked to, that it's the fact that you say women don't like you, and then I kind of thought, well, maybe the fact that you say you're beautiful. I mean, it's one thing to think you're attractive, but to actually come out loud and say it and put it in print and say, you know, I am a beautiful woman, does have a certain arrogance about it. And then I thought, well, is it that people, we don't hate beautiful women, we don't like arrogant women or men, actually?
Well, you'll appreciate that the feature's 1,200 words. It's a compression of all my experiences into that. You know, a lot of my friends and family have read it and said, God blimey, is that you, Sam? But, you know, that's one tiny aspect of who I am as a human being, and I've put it into a feature. And so, you know, of course, I'm not surprised that people think, what an arrogant person.
But all studies show, and indeed common sense dictates, that the better looking you are, the easier life is. Doors open.
Absolutely, and that's the point that I've made, and that I hope has come across as well.
I mean, also, I think one of the big questions is, if, as a person, everywhere I go, I am met with a certain reaction from people, and, for example, that reaction is negative, well, if you just hear me out, if I get that reaction, I have to, in the end, embrace the fact that, actually, it might be me that needs to change and not the society around me. The very fact that you are entertaining these relationships with people,
well, that's the point I want
paranoia.
to make. I don't have those experiences every day of my life. I'm 41, they're all compressed into one feature. Of course, you know, I live in the middle of the French countryside. I see about 2 cars that go past my house.
So what you're actually saying,
every day.
then, is that this is a very minority of experiences, and actually this doesn't apply to the generic public, which is what you've stated.
Do you actually...
That's what's coming across.
These are experiences that have happened to me without a question.
But on a minor level?
Well, no.
So on a major level, you are saying that when you entertain these experiences...
Shades of grey. There are shades of grey.
Yes, but what they're not shades of is you definitely believe you are very good looking. You believe that.
Which is great. It's great
No,
that
yeah,
she
yeah, but
thinks
I'm
that.
just getting to the point. You do believe that.
I don't. It's not that I believe it. I
do,
believe
you
the
obviously
perception
do.
of me.
Right.
And I believe the perception of how men approach me.
But you must believe
is
it if
different.
you think people are thinking it's
Do
about
I think I'm
you.
attractive?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
But do you
But
wonder...
does somebody
Is that a
tell
big
you that?
crime?
No, it's not.
No.
It's not. We're just trying to establish this. We're just trying to say, because so many good-looking people don't believe they're good-looking. You do believe. Why do you believe? That's my question.
Well, I
Did
think I've
somebody tell
answered
you?
that in... Well, I think that's the perception that I've written about in the feature.
I do think that what you have to accept is that the major amount of women in the British public and elsewhere all over the world globally have come out and said, Samantha, we don't feel that way.
That's
I
not
don't
true.
feel that way.
Well, that's not
But
true.
I
Well,
wonder,
that's not the
I wonder
experience
as
I've
well
had
that
at all.
if you believe yourself to be very attractive, very beautiful, you believe that everybody's husband fancies you and that we're all jealous, maybe you give off... So say you walk into a party, you give off an air of kind of arrogance or superiority. Maybe that's why the women don't like you, not because you're pretty or beautiful. That they just think,
I think to put that into
she loves
context-
herself and she thinks my husband's going to fall at her feet. That's what they don't like.
I think to put that into context, the last 5 years I've lived in France. My husband's 10 years older than me, so obviously we move in a different social set. So already I'm you know, with people who are much older than me and who, you know, see someone... I mean, I do it myself when I see younger people coming in, you check them out immediately and see what they look like.
Well, I do, but I'm not jealous of them.
No,
Well,
I
I'm not jealous
celebrate
of them
it.
either.
I
But I'm
think-
just making the point that...
But you said
I'm
actually in your
moved.
article that you find that that older women particularly, you feel they feel very threatened by you.
That's my experience of life in France, yes.
Okay, so say, okay, you go to a dinner party or a party. There are 10 blokes there. What percentage of those blokes do you know are attracted to you? Do you feel are attracted to you?
I don't know.
You so do. More than 3? More than 4?
All of them, all at the moment.
I mean, I do think that you are an attractive woman, that's without doubt. And I wouldn't want to stand here and say it's not great to feel fantastic about yourself, because absolutely I would empower every woman with that. But saying that we don't agree with it.
regret writing this article?
No, I don't regret writing it, because I think the whole point of the article that I wanted to make when I originally wrote it, I pitched the article. The header line for the feature was, why does the sisterhood hate attractive women? And I stand by that women do not like attractive women.
I don't.
Do you know,
think.
but do you know
I
what's
say-
happening now? Excuse me.
Sorry.
Do you know what's happening now? They're all shouting to their screen, and they don't like being told by you that you think you're attractive, because they like to discover you're attractive. So I think
No, I don't
that's
even
part
think
of it.
that's right.
No, I do
I have
think
no
that's right.
problem with
What is
Samantha.
wrong
I
with
have no
self-confidence,
problem with you
though?
thinking that you're attractive.
I agree.
I do
What
have
is
a
wrong with
problem with you
self-confidence?
saying to me as a woman, you won't like me. If you've even opened your mouth, you say, I probably won't like you when you walk into a room because you're attractive. And I do take offence to that. I think that's totally wrong.
Part of being
for
a
me.
great journalist is listening to what the public think, and what I'm saying is you wrote that article and then she responded
Leave
saying
the
that
last
she's not
word. Let's
listening to us.
have the last word now to Samantha herself about the whole experience and the reaction to this. It's proven your thesis, then, you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Women do not like attractive women, and that has been proved to me by the thousands of vile messages I've had on Twitter, the thousands of vile emails I've had to my personal account, the messages I've had on my own answer phones. Yeah.
Samantha is staying with us to take your calls and reactions with Stephen in the Hub. Thank you very much
you.
indeed. Well, that'll have you all
you.
talking. Have a cup of tea. We'll see you after the news.
Feel closer with Nivea, the nation's favourite skincare.
This shade, it's not made to fade. Elvive Color Protect from L'Oréal Paris.
Wash after wash, protect your coloured hair.
80% more color radiance protection.
For stay true, radiant color.
New transformed Elvive Color Protect from L'Oréal.
I choose the UK's #1.
We're worth it.
It's here, now 81. Massive chart hits. Now 81. 9 number ones, now 81. Now that's what I call music.
Are you sure your current cleaner is getting your loo really clean? Especially under the rim and in the U-bend. New Harpic Power Plus powers all around the bowl, changing colour as it works below the waterline, killing germs and smashing through limescale. To give your loo our most complete clean ever, leaving it looking like new. Harpic Power Plus. Harpic, like a new loo every time.
Keep them happy in between the Easter eggs with roast lamb, gammon, pork or beef. All half price at Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's. Live well for less.
Fighting the gangs that are making millions from dodgy cash machines. Fraud Squad is back tonight at 9. Right now, though, it's the ITV News.
Good morning. Millions of homes are banned from using hosepipes from today as drought grips southern and eastern England. The restrictions follow 2 of the driest years on record. Customers face a £1,000 fine if they use their hosepipes during the ban. The Institute for Fiscal Studies says families with children stand to lose an average of £500 a year under tax and benefit changes coming into force tomorrow. The Shadow Chancellor Ed Ball says it's proof of a tax credits bombshell, but the government insists many more people will be helped than lose out.
Actually, there are 24 million households who gain across this, and that's many, many more times than those who lose. And in fact, the average household gains by £5.50 a week.
And on today's ITV News at 1:30, we have an exclusive interview with 6-year-old Tusha Kalamaswaran and her family. Tusha was only 5 when she was shot in the chest by a gang member's stray